And welcome down to Frank Drago Reserve for this round 11 NPL WA clash between the hosts Bayswater and the visitors Floreat. All to play for the home side today, as they will need a victory and for results to go their way if they are to crack into the all-important top six in this 2020 COVID-affected season. For those of you that aren't aware, the top six will play on in a competition of their own to decide the league champions. And the bottom six will also play on for one spot in the top four cup, meaning 3 of the top 6 will go into that competition. But in terms of the title, today is do or die for Bayswater. The end of season drama all started last week, really, when ECU defeated Perth SC, knocking them out of the top 6, ending their top 6 chances and their hope at the title. They will be waiting today to find out who will join them in the bottom 6. The calculations are simple for some of the teams. For Armidale, they just need a win and they're through. Nice and simple for them. For Bayswater, it's a little bit more difficult. They need to win today and have Armidale lose to Coburn. And they'll also need Inglewood to drop points. Then there are all the permutations with goal difference and head-to-head. I will do my best to keep you on top of that and all that information as we go. My name's Sean Fry. I will be calling the action for you today as Floreat in all white with the blue trim and numbers kick us off. They will be kicking from left to right. Bayswater in the blue and navy blue, the home side kicking to the left of screen. And I sat here all those weeks ago with you at round 1 to watch Bayswater versus Perth. That was a dramatic finish as well. Luke Salmon stepping up to score a free kick to equalise late on. As Daryl Nicol, one of the bright sparks of the season for Bayswater, gets fouled. They're one of the bright sparks every time he sets foot on a football pitch in Perth. Is here Bayswater just trying to make inroads there. Konstantinos Sparta, one of the One of the 3 introductions to this Bayswater side from the team that lost 3-1 to Gwelup last week. Gustavo Maralunda, Luke Salmon and Konstantinos Sparta, the one I mentioned earlier, the 3 changes. And if Bayswater are hoping Floreat with job done, haven't talked much about the visitors, which is a little unfair because they don't have much to play for today. But they have had a stunning season. Floreat scored 22 goals, conceded just 9, tied with Coburn for the best defence in the league. And if Bayswater were hoping for a weakened side today, they'll be a little disappointed. There are 3 changes, but the names coming in: Nicholas Ambrosio, he's got 3 goals on the season. Philip Arnold with a couple himself. And Marco Santalucia. So not a trio that you come in and think you can take advantage of, as Floreat look to go forward here through the skipper, Dean Evans, just clipping one over the top. Or rather, Philip Arnold that was. Clipping one over the top. Looking the path of Ambrosio. It's Hesketh. Looks inside. He's under a bit of pressure. Ludovic Boy and another white shirt looking to dispossess him. Couldn't do so. And Bayswater look to go forward. And that path directed for Maralunda. Not quite into his path. And it'll run for a Floreat throw. There is a situation today where if Bayswater win 3-0 and Inglewood in their other game draw 1-1, both teams would be level on goals scored, goals against, goals difference and points. It would then go to their head-to-head, which Bayswater won 2-0 back in round 3. Daryl Nicol and Maralunda the scorers that day. plenty of days like that over the years. As Floreat just settling into their first real spell of possession. Early injury worry for Bayswater. Physio being called out. Haven't quite got my bearings yet to see who that is for Bayswater with the injury. I'll let you know when I can see a number. As I said, first round of the season, that Perth-Bayswater game was such a cliffhanger, such a wonderful game to watch, and we thought these two teams, the Derby d'Italia, the Underlights, going neck and neck, and thinking these two teams are going to be there or thereabouts again this season. It hasn't worked out for either. Perth, as I mentioned, can no longer win the title. Will fight on for the top four cup, but Bayswater, out of those two sides, the only left now with a chance. But as I've said, it is a long shot. They will need other results to go their way. I will try and keep you on top of those scores as they come in. No scores yet across the grounds, across all 6 matches. But rest assured, when they come through, I will let you know. So Floreat just passing it around the back there. Turn it over. And it looks like there is going to be a substitution. So that injury has forced a change. Jack Allen coming on. And he looks like he'll be slotting in it right back there as Luke Salmon looks to dribble his way past a couple. Gets past Boy. Gets past another. Looking to roll it into the path there of Gustavo Maralunda. Floreat take it away. Here's Evans. Finding Boy. Boy just looking to flick it over the top. Santa Lucia battling there with Ryan Pearson. Pearson flicks it over his head. Flicked on further by Declan Hughes, I think it was, the youngster. And Floreat back into it. Boy lets it run. Then gets chopped down, gets back to his feet quickly. Protestations from Floreat as Noah Shamaki was floored. Referee lets play go on. Salmon takes a touch around his opponent and then is surely fouled. Bright start from the youngster. It was a fantastic free kick. He scored in round 1 to equalise late on in the 90th minute. And the confidence of the young man whenever there's a decision given Bayswater's way anywhere near the penalty area, he wants to be on top of it, and you can see it again now. As soon as there's a foul, he gets back to that ball to pick it up. Maralunda standing over it with him. I think it will be one of those two. Chance to go direct or try and fizz one across the 6-yard box. Floreat with players deep, allowing Bayswater to set up in their penalty area. Partly affected by the depth of the wall. They step up now, try to hold that line. It will be Salmon. Maralunda has opted to leave it for the youngster. What can Luke Salmon do with this one? Goes under the wall, takes a deflection maybe, and it's in. He's done it again. I'm not sure if there was a touch. It looks like the congratulations are going to the Bayswater player on the line there who got the final touch. But it's a wonderful start for the hosts. It's exactly what they needed. If they have any chance of snatching that top 6 spot at the last minute, they will need to win today. They've got off to the perfect start to do just that. It may have been Daryl Nickel getting the touch on the way through. That seemed to be the man that was receiving, well, half of the praise. Salmon was obviously being praised for a very inventive, creative free kick, just smashing it low and under the wall and, as I said, fizzing it across that 6-yard box into a dangerous area. How can Floreat respond? If it is a Daryl Nickel goal, that'll be his 8th for the season and 5 in the last 4 games. He is really on a tear. But he never really stops scoring, does he? Salmon just dawdling on the ball there. And giving away a free kick there was Hughes going in a little bit aggressively. Out to Santa Lucia. He looks to square it. But Ambrosio was a step behind that, and Bayswater looked to go the other way. Smith, or rather Maralunda there, certainly offside. The path was well overhit in any case. Festa back to his keeper. Jason Saldaris in the goals today for Floreat. Jackson Lee wearing the gloves up the other end for Bayswater. It's really been the problem for Bayswater this season, is just not finding enough players that can find the back of the net. Of course, they've got Daryl Nickel, and when you've got Daryl Nickel, there's always goals, but beyond him, there's been very little. Certainly in terms of potent strikers. Maralunda's picked up a couple. Salmon's picked up 2 of his own. As that ball whipped into the box, safely caught by Lee. Festa will control that comfortably. Plenty of time to assess his options. In the end, he decides to play it short for Arnold, who manufactures himself a free kick and then plays a lovely diagonal ball over to the left wing. Just looking to break in and get a shot away there on his right foot. Was one of the big success stories of this season for Floreat. Liam Murray, the former glory man, has been absolutely sensational this season. He's got 5 goals, 3 in his last 4. And just seems to be popping up on the scoreboard almost every week. It's Evans. Back to Murray. Murray gets it back. Little 1-2, but Bayswater come away with it. That ball intended for Nickel gets there, but his pass is ill-directed for Maralunda. Floreat reset. Here's Santa Lucia. He's got Boy short. Uses him now. He looks to flick it around the corner for Ambrosio. Doesn't get there. Maralunda. His pass intercepted by the Floreat captain, who is closed down well by Luke Salmon. It's what coaches love to see. Players chasing down lost causes and winning the ball back. That's what coaches don't love to see. Players playing simple 5-yard passes and rolling out of their foot. So Ryan Pearson just keep his head low for a while. And indeed comes back there with a good tackle. Boy looks to turn it around the corner. It had already gone. And it'll be a goal kick for Lee to take. He looks long for Salmon, playing very high early on. Luke Salmon causing a few troubles as he goes by. Is there anyone in the box that he can get it back to? Nickel was arriving late. Maralunda was in there. Didn't end up getting to either of them. So outstretched leg of Dennis Gallen blocked the cross. Nickel will head over to take the corner. Been a couple of goals around the grounds, but none in the games that we're interested in here. Glory Inglewood still 0-0. Coburn Armidale still 0-0. Joondalup have scored against Balcatta, and Sorrento have scored against Perth, but Nickel whips this free kick in, cleared initially. Back to Sparta. Back to Nickel, whose cross is blocked by Boy. Out for a Bayswater throw. Jack Allen, the substitute, will jog over to take it. I believe, just by looking at who's left out there, I believe it was Todd Howarth that was injured early on there and made way for Jack Allen. Jack Allen, a player I've always enjoyed watching the last few years in the NPL. Just works very hard. Most of the time I've seen him play, he's been in holding midfield or box-to-box midfield. But today, just a traditional right-back role for him. Here's Boy, looking to get it forward into the path of Noah Shamaki. Jackson Lee off his line quickly. And good news for the hosts as Coburn have taken the lead against Armidale. So one step on the way there. Armidale currently trailing Coburn. Bayswater currently leading Floreat. They will need it to remain that way. They will need Inglewood to lose as well. Still a long, long way to go. As things stand, their position is better, but their position on the table hasn't changed. Here's a chance for them to make their position on the day a little better still. Wide ball, shot fired and stinging the palms of Jason Soldaris, who, in truth, managed it quite comfortably. And the shot was powerful, but straight at the goalkeeper. I think it was Constantina Sparta that let that one fly. Here's Songo looking to lift it into the path of Murray. Murray cutting back onto his right foot. Boy was arriving at the far post, couldn't get a ball in. Here's Songo. He does get a ball in, but Lee charges out to take control of that situation. The likeliest scenario is that Bayswater, if they are to go through, they will need a lot of goals here today. Will possibly need to score 3 or 4. Depending, of course, on what happens elsewhere. That ball looking for Liam Murray, but overhit. Allen over to take the throw. Is Smith dropping deep to pick that one up. Pearson. Nipped away from Maralunda there. As Hughes turns nicely away from pressure, buys himself a bit of time, and then uses all of that time before finding a pass for Jackson Lee, who had a little stumble on the ball. Gee, there. Doing things the hard way, this Bayswater back four. But no harm, no foul, as Lee looks to find Pearson, who drifted up the line, over his head, and Boy looks to take it early and flick it over the head of the defender and get onto the end of it, but couldn't quite do the last part of that formula. As Lee picks it up. Well, as I've said, long way to go, but the perfect start for the hosts. And that perfect start has just got better as Coburn now lead 2-0 against Armidale. Things not going the way of the Southerners from Armidale. As Shongo looks to get a ball in the box. Here's Liam Murray skipping around a couple and firing a shot, blocked. Comes back to Evans, whose left foot strike just fizzes low and wide of the goals. So Bayswater, in terms of their positioning with Armidale. They are level on points currently. They have a -2 goal difference. Armidale currently with a -1 goal difference. So a goal would put them level. They would still be behind on goals scored. So another goal would be huge for them as they go looking for it now. Maralunda happy to see that one roll out for a Bayswater throw. Long way to go, but a perfect start for this storied NPL club. If there was ever something to give them a little hope today, it's that Floreat's, well, there's been 2 games this season where they haven't picked up 3 points. 1 draw, 1 loss. Their only loss away to Gwelup, 3-0 was the final score there in round 5. Since then they've won every game, but the other game that they failed to clinch all 3 points was the 3-3 draw at Balcatta in round 3. So the 2 occasions this year they haven't taken 4 points, have been away from home. They are away from home here, and Bayswater's record at home is far better than their record away. So things starting to look up as the sun shines over Frank Drago Reserve on a beautiful Saturday afternoon as Daryl Nicol is fouled there. Fair way out, 35, 40 yards out here, the free kick. So Hughes will look for a target. It's over the back, and I think Salmon tried to flick it back into a dangerous area, but the flag was up. Linesman Simon Hicks on the far side. Floreat will look to play it out through Dennis Gallen. Long down the line, giving Santa Lucia a job. Pearson heads away. Arnold heads it back. A little bit of aerial tennis, and the ball looked to have come off a hand there, but Sparta wanted to keep going. And Simon Hicks's flag is up again. Still no change. Armidale and Coburn still 2-0, and Inglewood and the Perth Glory remaining scoreless. That may be the game that Bayswater really sweat on in this one. The Glory not in good form over the last few weeks. They've been conceding goals in buckets. Here's a chance for Floreat. Stood up onto the head there, looking for Noah Shamaki, but Jackson Lee claiming comfortably. As well played there by George Fester to take that one away from Maralunda. As Arnold plays it back to his keeper. Back out to Fester. And Floreat just patiently building. Long ball into the path of Boys. Over hit and runs on for Lee. Stoko found a teammate, but teammate gave it away, and Jack Allen. They eventually come back to Lee, whose clearance was poor. And Evans was swarmed by blue shirts. Bayswater take possession. Maralunda has Salmon, and he looks to play it first time for Smith. Comes off a Floreat foot, now for a throw. Hughes calling for it in space in the middle. Gets him now. Big switch is wonderfully played into the path of Pearson. He tracks it down and looks to thread it through the eye of the needle for Nicol. Couldn't quite do it, but it'll be a Bayswater throw. They keep the pressure on. Armidale, Inglewood, Bayswater, all on 15 points in 6th place. As it stands, it comes back for Nickel. Oh, you'd expect him to bury that. 9 times out of 10, you expect to see the net rippling there. Daryl Nickel with a glorious opportunity to bring Bayswater level on goal difference with Armidale in 6th. But he has blazed it over. It's a great start, though, from the hosts. They have been bright. A number of chances already. But as we know, Floreat, so deadly they have been this season. 22 goals scored. Not the highest in the league, but when you only conceded 9, it's easy to see why they are sitting so clear on top of the league. Flicked over the top there by Sparta. Oh, wonderful tackle there by Dennis Gallen on the charging Maralunda. Shamaki just shoved out of the way by a couple of Bayswater defenders, and Lee looks long for Smith, who's cannoned into by Santa Lucia, and the Floreat defenders actually come off second best. You don't want to go into a 50-50 with Gordon Smith. Certainly, I think the contact was more the issue than the landing. It was a heavy blow with Smith backing in and Santa Lucia come over the top to win the ball. Just had the stuffing knocked out of him. He looks like he'll be okay to continue. If they do win today, Bayswater, it will be their first win in 5. It would be the almighty escape if Chris Coyne's men could pull this off. Things still need to go their way, but so far today, everything has. As Evans looks to play it forward, eventually gets it to Ambrosio. Songo looks to square it back for Shamaki in the 6-yard box. Cleared by the Floreat defence, or the Bayswater defence rather. Songo with the throw. Hughes putting himself about, comes out to Murray. He finds the feet of Songo, or Shamaki rather, who couldn't get a shot away. Or he did get a shot away and it was blocked. It'll be a Floreat corner. Didn't quite see the contact with the ball there. I'm sitting behind a big pylon. Murray over to take the corner for Floreat. Can they put a dent in Bayswater's top 6 hopes? Whipped into the near post, cleared. Oh, only out as far as Murray. Obviously wasn't him taking the corner. Here's the corner taker, lobting it back post. Looking for the late runner. Was just slightly overhit. Didn't find him. George Fester it was there, just arriving late. Evans couldn't find him. Here's Lee. Looking long for Maralunda. Does well to force a contest with Gallen. It's cleared back up and headed away there by Hesketh. Salmon finds Nickel. Dribbles it wide and then gives it back to the youngster. Has it nipped off his toes, but into the path of a teammate who tries to find Maralunda. Doesn't get it to him, but comes back out to Sparta, who looks to twist and turn, but is dispossessed. And Floreat with a chance to go forward, but Hesketh again sniffing out the danger and cutting it out. Salmon looking to take on Songo. And with the help of his teammate. Shongo comes away with it, finds Shamaki. Back to Murray. Little 1-2 with Evans. A lot of space on this near side, but they opt to chip it down the line. It'll be a Bayswater throw. Scores unchanged at Coburn. Still 2-0 to Coburn against Armidale. Inglewood still scoreless. Of course, Bayswater do not need Inglewood to lose. A draw would be enough, but they will need to score at least one more goal. A goal here would put Bayswater up into 7th ahead of Inglewood as things stand. As stepping inside and getting fouled is Declan Hughes. He gets it back quickly and looks for Daryl Nicol. A long diagonal. That won't make it far enough. Santa Lucia heads it away, but picked up there by Sparta. Lobbed it over the top for Maralunda. Headed away again. Bayswater applying the pressure. It's been a good performance from the host so far. Nicol looking to find the feet of his captain, Maralunda. But Floreat can clear. They've really got them penned back here, Bayswater. A bit of a spell of possession down the attacking end for Floreat in the past few minutes, but Bayswater now just wrestling control back. Is Pearson. Long way forward. Finding Smith, who plays it back out for Sparta, who in the end is robbed. Floreat look to attack down this near side. Wonderful idea there from Santa Lucia, just looking to lift one, curl it with the outside of the foot into the path of his teammate. Just didn't quite get it right. Here's Smith, pursued by Boy and Evans. Gets it into the path of Salmon, who loses his footing in his battle with Shongo. And Shongo will let it run for a throw, which he himself will take. Just plays it for Arnold. He gives it back to him, and now Shongo finds Shamaki. He dribbles past a couple, but can't get past the third. A little overly confident there from Hesketh, and a chance opens up. Boy threads it into the path of Shamaki, but it just runs too far from him. Headed away at the near post by a Bayswater defender, and they will escape. And Stephen Hesketh will breathe a sigh of relief. He loves to step in and cut out those passes, and found himself in possession there with a couple of players to beat in a dangerous area. Turned it over, but was bailed out with the help of David Stoko getting the final touch to clear. As Evans flicks it around the corner well and plays it into the path of Murray. Murray's got Boy arriving at the back post. He's got a few numbers just approaching the edge of the penalty area now. Plays it back to one of them. Comes back into the path of Arnold. Opts against the shot. Perhaps should have taken it. The pass was worse. Didn't find a teammate. And Lee will take the goal kick quickly. They want to get things going here, Bayswater. They want some more goals. They know the scenario. They know the equation. They need to score, and they need to score regularly. Lifted wonderfully into the path of Maralunda by the Bayswater midfielder there. Taken away, and Floreat now with a chance. This is end-to-end. This is exciting stuff. I would be very, very surprised if we don't see more goals in this one today. Still no change at either of those two other important games. Coburn 2, Armidale 0. Perth Glory 0, Inglewood 0. Lee looks long for Salmon. Wonderful pass from the goalkeeper there. Salmon flicks it on into the path of a teammate who's bundled over. Referee says shoulder to shoulder. This allows play to go on, which means Floreat can now counter-attack. That cut out by the head of Ryan Pearson. Flicked over for Maralunda, back to Nickel. He's got Hughes. He's got Salmon outside of him. Salmon and Shongo again. Salmon turns inside. And comes back down the line to Allen, his fullback. Finds Smith. He's really putting himself about in midfield today. Maralunda had a teammate outside of him, opted not to go that way, decided to dribble and lost possession. Here's a chance for the visitors. Shamaki looks to the path of Boy, but well read by the imposing frame of David Stoko. Here's Boy. Inside for Arnold. Looks to loft one to Liam Murray. The youngster couldn't bring that under control. So 6th, 7th and 8th all tied on 15 points. You don't want to rule anything out as it is only the first half as we head in towards the final 10 minutes of this first half, but you can almost rule out that Armidale win, barring a huge turnaround as the first booking of the day goes to Ludovic Boy. I think it was a genuine attempt to win the ball, but didn't get much, if any, of it, and collected a lot of an opponent. So Shane Skinner's book is out for the first time. Ludovic might not completely agree with it. As Lee looks for Nickel. Little hand in the back there for Floreat, but they get away with it. They turn it over regardless. Pearson looks to fire it down the line. It comes back off him via Nickel and Hughes. Sounds like a mining company. Stoko wins that header down. Pearson looks to flick it around the corner for Maralunda. It comes back out to Smith. And Pearson again. He has Nickel calling for it. Inside, goes back. Declan Hughes finds Smith. He turns out and is very loose in possession there, giving it away to Murray. And then slipping and letting Murray past. It's still with Murray after a 1-2 with Boy. Gets it back to Boy, who plays Santa Lucia. Some good football here from Floreat. And as soon as I say that, of course, they throw it away. Santa Lucia's ball, a poor one. You'll probably get sick of me saying it by the end of the half, but still no change in those other scores. Armidale, Inglewood, Bayswater all still tied on 15 points. As coming a long way out from his goal there is Jason Soldaris. He's got back there now, and wonderful ball into the path of Gordon Smith, who just doesn't get the connection he was after. He has been all over the pitch. He had probably the worst 20 seconds of his game just moments before. That could have been the best moment of his game, but Shamaki looking to get Floreat back on level terms. Comes back out to Arnold. He chips it out into the path of Murray, who steps inside his opponent and fires tantalisingly over the bar. He certainly had the measure of Jack Allen on that occasion. Just went one way, then the other. Found himself at more than a bit of space. He had quite a lot of time to tee that one up. and just didn't quite get his head over it. Spooned it over the bar. Lee's kick is a thumping long one, right to the edge of the penalty box almost for Bayswater. But Floreat come away with possession. Murray looked down the line for Evans, but had his pass cut out. He got a fortunate ricochet back to him, and he finds Evans now. He's got numbers arriving in the middle. One of them is Bala Noah Shamaki. He scores his 5th goal of the season and squares the ledger here at Frank Drago. Well, I'd said everything had been going the host's way so far. And everything had up until that moment. A little fortunate in the build-up there with Murray's ball intercepted and cannoning back into his path, but he found his skipper, who found the head of Shamaki. And Shamaki made no mistake. Scored last week in the 3-1 win over Sorrento. He has scored again here today. So that throws Bayswater back 2 points off that pair of teams, Armidale and Inglewood, who are still battling for that 6th spot. Pearson plays it into the feet of Sparta, who just hacks down his opponent and gives away a free kick. Not too much argument about that as Ambrosio gets up and dusts himself off. Floreat looked long, headed away, and diving in and heading away again there was Pearson. Interesting ball from Ambrosio. It's worked out into the feet of his number 9, Shamaki, the goal scorer. Appeals for a free kick. Referee lets it run. Here's a chance for Maralunda. Real chance. Took a little long, you thought, and then had to come back inside and eventually did get the shot away, but it was again over the bar. They have had their chances, Bayswater. Nickel could have had a couple. Maralunda will want that chance back again. He'll tell you he should have scored. We could be looking at a much different scoreline. As it is, it's 1-1. Still all to play for. That one over the head of Murray, headed out by Allen. As it is currently, Armidale hanging on to that 6th spot by default. They are behind, but Inglewood and Bayswater both drawing. Leaves them in 6th. I'm sure they won't care, whichever team finishes in that 6th spot, how they got there. Stocko heads that one down inside, and Bayswater look to clear, and they do now. Nickel almost left it behind, but poked it out into the path of Sparta. And he's beaten by the touchline, and Floreat look to go forward. Wonderful tackle there by Stocko. And Boy with a couple of tricks and turns, but tricking and turning himself out of bounds. Pearson with the throw. Uses Smith. Comes back for Hughes, who looks long again for Salmon. Been really trying to get Salmon one out there on that right-hand side on a couple of occasions, Bayswater. both sides really using both wings effectively. We've got Boy on the right for Floreat, Murray on the left, both very dangerous. No goals yet in the league this season for Ludovic Boy, but 5 for his compatriot on the other side, Murray. There's a foul there. Looked a clear foul to me. A couple of white shirts disagreeing. Most vocally Philip Arnold. He's been caught a couple of times, Daryl Nicol. Not a man to roll around. He just wants to get up and get on with it, and he does so now. Final moments of this first half. It's been enthralling. 6th spot is still up for grabs. If Bayswater can find a couple more goals in this second half, there may still be time for them to find a goal in this first half. But Salmon's touch was a little loose and Shongo comes away with it. Plays it down to Murray down the line. He's got Allen for company. Goes inside and nutmegs Gordon Smith. He won't want to see that again. Smith, that is. I'm sure Murray would be more than happy to put that one on loop. They've given the ball away now, and here's Smith threading it through for Sparta. Sparta's ball is into a dangerous area, but as Maralunda had made his way inside. So over the top of everyone. Out for a Floreat throw on the far side. They are scrapping for this one today, though, Bayswater. They want this, as Ryan Pearson goes sliding in. And Floreat go forward. That pass horribly under hit, and Stocko steps out and deals with it. And it comes back out to Ambrosio, who's fouled, and he gets up and takes it quickly. You can see they've got numbers on the far side if they could get it there quickly. In the end, they turn it over. Nicol coming out to apply pressure. Gets a little deflection off him and out for another Floreat throw. Perhaps a chance for Floreat to go ahead before the halftime whistle. Boy waits for that one to bounce and confronted by Hesketh, who heads it out of danger. Here's Shamaki. Back to Santa Lucia. His cross low and cleared. Maralunda can't quite get a hold of it. Gallen flicks it around the corner for Chongo. He is besieged there by Sparta and goes down rather easily. Referee not convinced. Bayswater with a chance to go forward here. And Smith opts to look back and finds his fullback. Allen looks down the line for Sparta. Back for Allen. There's Nicol in the middle. Lovely touch and turn from Daryl Nicol. Goes around one, loses possession, and the Floreat skipper comes away. Evans loves a long ball, and this one is no different, into the path of Shamaki. Shamaki looks to stand up and take on Hesketh. Rolls it into the path of a teammate, but Bayswater come away. Hughes looking long for Salmon. Doesn't get there. Santa Lucia arriving before Nicol to keep possession for Floreat. Maralunda relentless pressing. And now out of breath. And Gallen can carry. Now has Salmon in pursuit. So comes inside for Boy. For Evans. Drifting across out on that left side now. In behind Murray is Boy, but Murray wants to go himself. And Allen gets the better of him on this occasion. Boy, a little loose in possession. Sparta charging. He's got Salmon inside him. Further forward, he's got Maralunda. Looks to lob it into the path of Maralunda, but Fester cut it out. But all he can do is clear it up into the path of Sparta, back into the path of Nickel. Wonderful save. Back out for Maralunda and finally in. 2-1 Bayswater. It took a few tries, but they got there in the end. Bayswater back up to 15 points. And the good news for them is that Inglewood still remaining scoreless. Armidale still 2-0 down. The seesaw continues. Bayswater level on points with 6th, but just a couple of goals behind. They've already scored 2 today. Can they find a couple more in the second half? Whatever happens, it will be enthralling. It is going to go right down to the final whistle. Speaking of final whistles, there is the final whistle for this first half. Bayswater started brightly. A Luke Salmon free kick early on, fired under the wall. We think got a touch from Darryl Nickel. And that one was scrubbed out when Evans lobbed one into the box onto the penalty spot for Shamaki to head home. It looked like we were going in at 1-1 until finally the Bayswater attack ended with a Maralunda goal. A wonderful save in there from Saldaris on Nickel, who looked like he surely must score. Nickel and Maralunda had more chances. They both could have scored another one. But as it stands at half-time, the score is Bayswater 2, Floreat 1. And welcome back to Frank Drago Reserve as referee Shane Skinner makes his way back out into the middle. Floreat have been out for several minutes now, and Bayswater have just made their way out on the pitch. A bit of ducks and drakes by the home side, as we know it here in Australia. Well, the first half had everything we wanted of it. It had drama, it had the excitement, and it had other results going Bayswater's way so far. To paint the picture for you, as I already have a few times today, Bayswater will need to win by a number of goals. We don't know exactly that number until we see the scores of the other games, but they will also need Armidale to lose and Inglewood to drop points. As it stands, Bayswater lead 2-1. Armidale are losing 2-0 and Inglewood are dropping points to the Glory. Everything so far going Bayswater's way, just a matter of goal difference now. 1 goal would take them above Inglewood into 7th. 2 goals would take them above Armidale into 6th. And that is, of course, if no other goals go in at the other games. If they do, I will let you know. It remains 2-0 to Cockburn against Armidale and 0-0 Inglewood versus Glory. It is 2-1 here to the home side. No one would have imagined, as Luke Salmon plays it to the path of Maralunda, wider for Nickel. And I can get back to my earlier thought. No one would have imagined Perth and Bayswater would both find themselves in the bottom 6 and out of the hunt for the title before the halfway changeover point of this season. Of course, the bottom 6 will battle on for just 1 spot in the top 4 cup. 3 spots given to the top 6 for that competition. But in terms of the title, this is Bayswater's last chance. Perth went out last week. Bayswater could be going out this week. They need a couple of goals either here or elsewhere, as Smith fouls his opponent there, and Floreat take a quick free kick into the path of Shamaki with Jack Allen giving chase. He tries to just nudge him off it and then comes in full-blooded. Good tackle on the Floreat number 9. Down the line for Salmon. He's just growing in confidence week by week, isn't he, young Luke Salmon? There's Declan Hughes, another one of the young stars in this Bayswater side, as Maralunda robs it from Gallen and then plays it back into the path of Salmon, and he checked his run. Oh, I think he knows. Great vision there from the Bayswater number 9 to play it into the path of Luke Salmon, but he just changed his mind. He thought that Maralunda hadn't seen him. Checked back inside. If he had kept going, it would have been a glorious chance. As Stoko takes it off the toes of Shamaki and then takes it off the toes of Arnold. Rolls it again for Salmon, but he's got Shongo in hot pursuit. Shongo wins that race comfortably. Back to Saldaris. Allen, with hands in the back of Murray, wins the header. Referee allows it to go on. Smith for Pearson. Back for Smith. Just love to see his heat map. He seems to find himself all over the pitch. Big Gordon Smith. Charged down there well by Boy. Back in the path of Shamaki. Looks to nutmeg Stoko. Gets a deflection. Comes back to Floreat. Shouts of handball ignored there from the referee. Boy for Evans. Floreat skipper looks wide for Arnold. Pearson comes out to confront him. Arnold comes back for Evans. Nice little touch and interchange with Boy, but very important intervention from Hesketh. He's had a couple of those today. As Pearson looks to clear the danger. Boy refuses to make that easy for him. In the end, he can only clear it down the line for Arnold, but there is a foul behind the play, it looks like. Jackson Lee will come over to take. Still no score for Inglewood. Still 2-0 at Cockburn for Armidale. So the scenario remains 2 goals needed for Bayswater to leapfrog Armidale and Inglewood into the top 6. Plenty of time left. But as the minutes tick away, the picture will become clearer. As we stand, it is going down to the final minute. Salmon lets that one run for Nickel, who shapes to shoot, but then finds Sparta. He lobs it back post and just nicked off the head of Maralunda by the leaping George Fester. Armidale 6th, Inglewood 7th, Bayswater 8th, all on 15 points. That one a little heavy. Saldaris can scoop it up. Armidale's current goal difference, -1. Inglewood's -1. Bayswater's rather, -2. One goal would put them level on goal difference with both sides. They've scored more goals than Inglewood, have not scored as many goals as Armidale. So they will need to beat Armidale's goal difference. That's the equation as things stand. Hopefully we don't get too many more complications, because I'm not sure if I'll be able to wrap my head around 3 different changing score lines all over the final half an hour, 40 minutes of this game. But I will do my best. Here's Ryan Pearson for Bayswater. Finds Maralunda, who goes back to go forward, looking for Sparta. Headed away by Chongo. Salmon. Twisting and turning. Back down the line for Allen. Cut out well by Chongo. Wins his side a throw. Taken quickly down the line. Smith now out on the near touch line. Cutting a ball out, winning a header. Chongo confronted by Salmon. Goes inside him for Murray. Back to Fester, who can carry. Lots of space in front of him. Eventually closed down by Sparta. But not before he's advanced the ball well down the pitch. Shemaki's not going to get there. And Hesketh clears the danger. No change in the other 2 games. All sides level on 15 points. Armidale currently 6th. Via goal difference and having scored more goals than Inglewood. Stoko always winning that header. So Allen fires it down the line, looking for Sparta. It's cut out by a Floreat foot, and Bayswater get the throw. Allen looking for Maralunda. It's not getting there. That header from Hesketh was poor. Boy rolls it into the path of Shemaki. Shemaki gets past all comers, and then wonderfully denied by Jackson Lee in the Bayswater goal. Gee, I thought he was going to be held up there. Noah Shemaki, the sliding tackle, looked to have stopped him in his tracks, but he kept going. A huge credit to Jason Lee for denying that one, keeping his focus. Ball into the box. Shouts of a handball there, but Hesketh clears. Santa Lucia to take the throw for Floreat. Well, that could have put to bed just about any hope of a Bayswater top 6. It can all change so quickly, though. Certainly if some goals start flying in at Coburn and at Forest Field, where Gloria playing Inglewood. That still hasn't happened yet. No goals in any of those 3 games in the second half just yet. As Nickel looks to skip inside Santa Lucia and loses possession. touches it back. It's a Pearson who retreats to Stoko, out the other side to Jack Allen. Sparta down the line, looks to use him. Shongo leaps to contest over both of them. Back down the line and bouncing over Liam Murray's head, who is besieged by blue shirts, and Allen comes away with it in the end. Shongo looks to let his presence felt, and he does make his presence felt right on the ankle of Konstantinos Sparta, and can hardly be too much to argue with the yellow card. Was it a second yellow card for Shongo? And he's received his marching orders here. I didn't realise he'd already been booked, unless it was a mistake by the referee, unless he got the wrong card out. I'll try and get the information for you on that, but regardless of how it's come to be, Nelson Shongo, the Floreat left back, is in the change rooms. Shane Skinner has given him his marching orders for that vociferous tackle on Konstantinos Sparta. Not sure whether it was a yellow or a straight red, but he is off. Bayswater looking to press that advantage. They can't do so there. It'll be a goal kick for Saldaris. Well, that changes the outlook a little bit for Bayswater. They may feel that they can press that man advantage and look for more goals. They need 2 goals as it stands. Of course, if Armidale concede, they will only need 1. Armidale still just trailing by 2 goals. As that clearance at Lee was poor. Murray takes over, looks to feed Evans, but has it taken off his foot? So the decision there on Shongo was, it looks like a straight red card. So initially, the referee, Shane Skinner, had pulled out the wrong colour card, I think. Meant to produce the red. Pulled out the yellow instead, and from then on, confusion reigned in the commentary box. But we look to have got across it now. Substitutions and a reshape, you would think, now for Floreat. Chris Saldaris making his way onto the pitch. I believe it was Ludovic Boy who made way. That Floreat now with 10 men. What an opportunity this is for Bayswater. At the start of the day, it looked almost impossible. And now the impossible looking ever possible. Saldaris takes that one. And rolls it out, looking to get Floreat on their way. How will their motivation to attack change with Bayswater having the man advantage? I can tell you Liam Murray's won't. He wants to get on his bike and get forward. He does so now. That ball from Dean Evans looking for the path of Murray. Chopped out, and Bayswater can go the other way. Smith. Wonderful switch of play for Maralunda. He's got Nickel for support. Uses him now. Daryl Nickel fires and fizzes it across the 6-yard box. And Floreat survive. Would just be their second defeat of the season, Floreat, which just really would show that Bayswater, when they're on their game, there's a clear foul there on Declan Hughes. So when Bayswater are on their game, they can beat anyone. Which just makes some of the results this season no more so than 2 weeks ago, round 9, 3-1 defeat at home against cellar dwellers Rockingham. It's the sort of result that if they had have even got a point out of that, they would be clear in 6th right now. On such seasons, or on such things as seasons won and lost. Shane Skinner picks out a foul for Floreat, and Gallen takes it quickly. Ends with Festa, back where it started. Gallen finds Murray. Still looking good, Floreat with the man advantage and bustling his way forward and firing. Getting a shot on target, or getting a shot off that was blocked before it reached the target, was Nicholas Ambrosio. He was pulled back. Before he managed to get that strike away, so it will be a free kick to Floreat right on the edge of the area. And this would knock the stuffing out of Bayswater if the set piece specialist Dean Evans can curl one into the top corner. Chris Coyne is up on the touchline and he is shouting instructions to his men in blue and black. Evans will, you would think, aim to whip this top left corner. He's scored several stunning free kicks over the course of his career. Dean Evans, can he add to that list? Skinner sorts out the wall. Evans will strike on his whistle. There's the whistle. There's the strike. He goes top right and, oh, just about. There were a few up around me. Thought he had found the top corner. He went for the right. When the goalkeeper would have expected him to go to the left, he certainly caught him flat-footed. And if he did find that top corner, I don't think there was anything that Jackson Lee was doing about it. But Bayswater, hang on. It remains 0-0 between Glory and Inglewood. A goal for Bayswater would put them up into 7th. Another goal would put them up into 6th. And their hunt for a league title would continue. Of course, points reset, so it would be such a huge achievement for Bayswater if they do manage to scrape themselves into the top 6. They're looking to go forward now. Pearson rolling it back for Smith. Finds Hughes into the feet of Nickel. Back for Hughes. He lobs it over the top for Maralunda. And that ball's cleared and Murray looks to take it away. Pearson sliding in and winning the ball back. Bayswater determined. They want this today. Nickel for Maralunda. His cross is blocked. He opts not to let it run for a corner. He wants to get it in, but the linesman says it cleared the line. And it will be a corner. No change in any of the 3 big games we're looking at today. Armidale, Inglewood, Bayswater. The 3 teams fighting for that final 6th spot. Floreat, Gwelup, Coburn, Joondalup and Sorrento look to be our top 5. Who will be the 6th? Ball into the box, not cleared. It scrambles around in the box and they score! They do score! And Maralunda scores again! Bayswater up to 7th. Well, that was some shambolic defending by the visitors. There were white shirts all around it. The initial clearance went straight up in the air. Not sure what happened after that from a defensive standpoint, but it fell to the feet of Maralunda, who just barreled it home. And Bayswater are up into 7th. They need one more goal to lift them into the top 6. What a finish we have on our hands against the 10 men of Floreat. At Frank Drago Reserve, in front of their fans. Substitution for Floreat. Luka Ninkovic coming on. Didn't catch who made way on that occasion. It's Ninkovic with his first chance to make his presence felt, and his first contribution is to give away a free kick. Pearson will leave it for his goalkeeper. So Armadale on 15 points, Bayswater on 15 points, both with a goal difference of -1. But Armadale have scored more goals this season. Who would have thought it would come down to that? Nickel underneath this one, just gets nudged under it by his opponent. Maralunda looks to flick that one on. 2 goals today for him. 2 huge goals. It is still 2-0 at Coburn. And Bayswater are snapping at the heels every time a Floreat player picks up the ball. There's a blue shirt ready to tackle him, ready to put some physical pressure on. What a performance it has been today against the league leaders who, albeit they may not have a lot to play for, are still a formidable side. Have not just shut up shop and put out a weakened team. It's that one. Ninkovic flicks around the corner, and a bit of a scramble in the box with Hesketh and his opponent, Philip Arnold. Most of the arguments on the field have involved Philip Arnold today, in fairness. It's just pulling at the arm there and then kicking through. Konstantinos Sparta is Dennis Gallen. When you drag your centre half that far out from goal, you can expect you're going to get cleaned up if they do put in a tackle. Like to give themselves time to make their way back to the penalty area, which Gallen does now. And Hughes stands over this one to whip it in. Next goal puts Bayswater into the top 6. And their hunt for the title in 2020 will continue. If they don't find a goal and Coburn don't score again, that is it in terms of their title hunt. They will play on in the bottom 6 for a chance to contest the top 4 cup, but their title hopes will be over. Still plenty of time to go here today as Hughes spreads it wide. Smith on the dribble, coming inside looking for Nickel. Cutting that one out. Floreat dropping deeper and deeper. Bayswater having more and more of the possession. They just need, as things stand, they just need 1 goal. Saldaris takes control and then rolls it down the middle. A vacant centre of the park there. Hughes looks to close him down. Finds Murray, who flicks it around the corner for Ninkovic. Looks to take on David Stoko. Eventually Hesketh came across and helped him deal with the danger, but they can only concede a Floreat throw. Here's Shamaki looking to turn. Snatched off his toes by the bustling Gordon Smith. Into the path of Maralunda, looking for his hat-trick. Takes a touch. Pressured well by the cool head of George Fester. Just eased him off the ball and out for a goal kick, and Floreat can start again. They will still look to score. They'll still look to hit Bayswater on the counter. And in fact, even more than that, they'll still look to have their spells of possession. Look for Bayswater to come in waves. These second halves, when you need a goal, you all need to be on at once. Smith becoming more and more involved. Lets that one run for Hughes. Here's Allen. Big switch for Pearson. One full back to the other. Bayswater win possession here. Chance for Luke Salmon! Luke Salmon fires Bayswater into the top 6. Long way to go still, but that goal puts Bayswater into the top 6 as things stand on goals scored, or on goal difference from Armidale. Their goal difference goes to level. Armidale's is -1. Massive goal for Luke Salmon, the ex-Glory youngster. He started off the season brilliantly with a free kick to grab Bayswater a point late on in the 90th minute against Perth. I was here for that game. He looks like he's ending the season just as strongly. He just found himself in so much space. I guess it helps having the extra man. That's the benefit of it. You can track runners, you can cut passing lanes, but there's always going to be that extra one. And if you can execute when you get your chances, you can make things happen. And that is exactly what Bayswater have done today. And a little scuffle starts. Guess who was at the middle of that one? Phil Arnold. Been the man at the scene of the crime a few times today. He's very frustrated and finds himself in the book. It's only a matter of time before that happens, surely. Certainly want to keep trying to roll him up if you're wearing a Bayswater shirt today. All you need is another yellow, and Floreat could be down to 9 men. Well, this game has had everything. Who would have thought at the start of the day we needed Bayswater to win, as Floreat looked to make their way onto the score sheet in this second half. Back out to Salmon. We needed Bayswater to win. We needed Armidale to lose, and Inglewood, who I was just about to say could spoil the party, have gone 2-0 down against Perth Glory. Everything going Bayswater's way today. And here's Daryl Nicol. He's got a couple to take on. He will take both of them on. Tackled, but it spills from Maralunda. He could look to give it back to Nicol. He goes himself. Little toe poke into the path of Arnold, who gets it out to Murray, and Floreat get a chance to clear. Well, Inglewood, you would think, are out of the picture. That is a stunning turnaround from the way things started today. Bayswater were in 8th. They are now 6th. With an injury concern, another injury concern. They already lost Todd Howarth in the first half to injury. They don't want to lose Maralunda now, especially in the form he's in. So you would think the party poopers now can only be Armidale. They are 2-0 down. If they get one back, they will leapfrog Bayswater back into 6th. Of course, the players won't know that until they come off the pitch. They've got to keep playing. And here's Gallant doing just that. Cut out by Allen. And Sparta just unable to bring that one under control, or Bayswater could have been through again. Long throw down the line looking for Maralunda. Evans for Santa Lucia. Santa Lucia into the box for Ninkovic, but coming and claiming well, Jackson Lee. Has barely put a foot wrong today. As Bayswater look again to build from the back. Certainly nothing the keeper could have done about Noah Shamaki's goal. That remains the only goal Floreat have scored. Nicol has 1, Maralunda has 2 for Bayswater. As Floreat look to control it at the back. They play it into midfield and lose possession. Smith charges forward. He's got Nickel White on his left. He uses him now. Sparta streaming in and screaming for the ball, but that one was overhit by Nickel. That was a real chance to give themselves a bit of breathing room. Who would have thought we'd be saying that at the start of the day? We are just about half an hour into this second half. 15 minutes to play. Bayswater are 15 minutes from a second half of the season in the top 6. And an ongoing title tilt. Another substitution for Floreat. It'll be Robbie Harding coming on. In fact, it looks like a double substitution. I think we'll get Andrew Palmer as well. Palmer and Harding, both with a goal apiece between them. Andrew Palmer's only goal this season, as Noah Shamaki is one of the players to make way. So Andrew Palmer's only goal this season was a dramatic one in the 94th minute to salvage a point against Balcatta, save Floreat from their first loss of the season. All the way back in round 3. Floreat with the throw. Murray plays it back out, a chance to steer a header on goal. Was wide of the Floreat net by Ninkovic. And Bayswater breathe a sigh of relief. Every goal now can affect this seesaw. An Armidale goal would put them back into 6. A Bayswater goal would give them some breathing space. A Floreat goal would put Armidale back into the top 6. They are queuing up for another goal here and just looking to play it out from the back again when perhaps they should have cleared Floreat. Maralunda looking to be the benefactor from that. Finds Salmon, who fires at the feet of Soldaris, who holds on. Of course, a Coburn goal could give Armidale a bit of breathing space as well, as that one headed off into the path of Harding. The substitute looking to make his presence felt early on. Gets his cross in, headed away by Stoko. Oh, what a conclusion we have had to this 2020 WA NPL season. It required a miracle at the start of the day. We are now 10 minutes away from that miracle becoming reality. Here's Floreat looking to spoil the party. Murray. Back for Arnold. Inside, dinking over the top there. Wonderful goal. Wonderful goal from Phil Arnold. It was the substitute, Andrew Palmer, that laid on a plate for him. Wonderful chip pass. And that changes things again. Bayswater back into 7th. Armidale back into 6th. They've been queuing up at the other end, Bayswater. They've been knocking on the door. They've been wanting more goals, and just when it mattered there, caught napping at the back. Wonderful pass from Andrew Palmer, and a cracking finish as well from Phil Arnold, to be fair. His 3rd goal of the season. It is 4-2 Bayswater. Still with the man advantage. Still with 10 minutes or so to get themselves back into 6th. Well, what a dampener that's put on the party. Stocko back to Zinkovic. Floreat lose possession. Smith putting himself around again. Finding Maralunda, looking back for Smith, but Salmon recovers. Allen just holds it up and switches to his fullback again. His opposite fullback, Pearson, into the feet of Maralunda. Rolls it on for Nickel. Salmon is calling for it at the back post. He's unmarked. It doesn't get to him. Saldaris cutting it out and rolling it for Murray, who has a chance to run. He's got Salmon in pursuit. Salmon has a little nibble. Can't bring him down, and eventually Declan Hughes brings him to a stop. Ten minutes remaining in this one. Approximately 10 minutes remaining in all of our games. Glory 2-0 up against Inglewood. Salmon rolls into the path of Maralunda. Back to Smith. Smith takes a couple of touches. Looks to play it out wide for Sparta, but his teammate was not on the same hymn sheet. And Floreat will take a free kick for the offside. It is still 2-0 Coburn Armidale. Still 2-0 Glory Inglewood. So because of that goal just conceded, they will need another if they want to carry on their hunt for the title in 2020 Bayswater. Hughes, touch around one. Just crashes into Andrew Palmer. They get the ball back. Smith feeds it for Nickel. Nickel a chance to get a shot away. He fires and cut out. It may have actually come off Maralunda, and it'll be a Floreat goal kick. It's such an interesting situation where Floreat don't really have that much to benefit from any time wasting or killing off this game. But Bayswater will be desperate to get things going. Oh, that's an awful tackle there from Ryan Pearson. We'll just wait for the referee, make sure he's got the right card this time. Just the yellow, Shane? Yes, I think so. Well, Philip Arnold has been in the thick of it. He's been in almost every scuffle and every argument this afternoon, and he may have just ruined the day for Bayswater when things were looking so promising. Armidale, through no actions of their own, have found themselves back in the top six. Thanks to that Philip Arnold goal. No more. Substitution for Bayswater. That ball into the back post and the head of Evans. They appeal for a corner. They'll get a goal kick. Just try and get the details on that substitution for you. I think Alex McLean is the man coming on for Bayswater, the number 15. That one gives Nickel a job to do. Sparta the man coming off, but Nickel finding his way into the penalty area. Has his shot charged down, and Evans can set Floreat on the counter-attack. Stoko comes out, gets a toe in. Floreat maintain possession. Evans chips it around the corner. Tracking back and making the tackle, but losing out was both Floreat players really in the end, and both Bayswater players rather, and that cross blocked by Hesketh. Well blocked. And Floreat will have the throw. Seven minutes plus stoppage time for Bayswater to score the goal. That will continue on their hunt for the title. They can also cross their fingers and hope for Coburn to score another. But at this stage, Armidale are the team going through in sixth. Floreat battling on well with the 10 men. Comes out to Murray. Looks to flick it in for Palmer. Coming back was firing on goal. And Lee hangs on, but he's getting the hurry on from his teammates and from Chris Coyne on the bench. They know they need a goal. Maralunda contests well against the much taller George Fester. It's just cannoning around it. Perhaps a nudge in the back there from Murray. Referee allows play to go on. Murray rolls it wide for the goal scorer, Arnold. As it stands, he is the man that has knocked Bayswater out of the top six. He finds Murray after losing control himself. Murray may opt to head back to Arnold. He does so. Murray and Arnold just sharing possession between them at the moment. And they decide to let someone else have a play eventually. And Floreat will come back. Palmer looking backward for Gallen, who is tackled, but Floreat will win the throw. Still 2 goals, the Coburn lead over Armidale. Throw down the line, cut out. Good touch there from Salmon, and they've got a 3-on-2 here. Smith charging, pursued by Evans. Evans just muscled him off the ball, grabbed him from behind and kicked the ball away. That'll be a yellow card for the Floreat captain. It certainly, from where I was standing, didn't look like he was shoulder to shoulder. Now the goalkeeper kicks the ball away and he'll find himself in the book. Well, I mentioned moments ago that there wasn't a lot for Floreat to time waste and kill the game for, but they look like they want to do it anyway. So they are definitely taking up the role of the villains here at Frank Drago Reserve. They want to be the team that knocks Bayswater out of the title hunt. But while Bayswater cross their fingers and pray for a Coburn goal, it is still in their hands here. They have a free kick. It's not the best position for a free kick, in truth. You don't have the angle to whip a ball into a dangerous area, and it's a little too far out to go direct, you would think. Of course, you don't put anything beyond the game of football. Always willing to throw up surprises. Declan Hughes is standing over it confidently. He looks like he wants to have a hit. He does have a hit under the wall and just took a little bubble in front of Jason Saldaris. It wasn't as easy as it looked. He held on to it well. And he releases the ball and Floreat can go forward. Here's Dean Evans. He's got Rob Harding ahead of him. He's got Ninkovic arriving. And he's got Philip Arnold at the back post. Splits the difference between Ninkovic and Arnold, and Salmon clears. Smith brings it down. Back to Hughes. His ball in the path of Maralunda's a good one. Needed Gallen to be alert to the danger he was. And he was aware of Gordon Smith approaching there as well. Wonderful football there from Gallen. And Floreat can go and make things worse for Bayswater. Arnold drifting wide, picking up the ball. Murray in support. Murray can cut inside and have a hit. He decides not to. And rolls it out for Evans. Evans twists and turns. Comes back for Murray. Murray standing up. McLean. Over for Arnold. Palmer into the feet of Harding. Back to Palmer. His shot was wayward. Not long left now. Just a couple of minutes, plus stoppages. Bayswater need a goal and they need it promptly. They have come so close. It would be just a devastating way to go out. But I'm sure Chris Coyne will bemoan those losses to the likes of Rockingham and plenty of other games where they should have picked up more points when they didn't. They left it late themselves. Now they're trying to dig themselves out of a hole. They still have a chance. Bayswater need a goal here, or they need Coburn to score against as other games around the league come to their conclusions. Inglewood look like they're out of the picture, barring two very, very late goals and possibly a final substitution for Bayswater as Dean Kazura comes on. And he looks like he'll slot into centre back. He's the only man being left back, and in fact he's going forward as well. Jackson Lee about 10 yards deep inside his own half. Floreat with all the numbers can go forward here, but Smith, his intervention was crucial. So blocks the pass and ends up with it himself at right back. Bayswater want to continue. Floreat with a man down. The referee will put a stop to it. This is going to mean we are going to have a lot of stoppage time. And may mean we finish here after all the other games are done. So Bayswater will know what they need to do. They need another goal here. As things stand, yellow card and a second yellow, is it, for Pearson? It is a second yellow card for Pearson. We will end at 10 men apiece. Not sure what that one was for. Was it for the incident that's led to the injury? It may have been pointed out by a linesman. My apologies, I have completely missed what that one was for, though I think half of the onlookers have as well. But Pearson is off. It is his second yellow card. Floreat lost Shongo earlier on in the half. And excuse me if I sound distracted, I'll keep one eye fixed on the Armidale score, one eye fixed on this one. Armidale Coburn is over. It finishes 2-0. I think Coburn City Armidale is indeed over, and it is indeed 2-0 there. So Bayswater just need a goal. That is it. The situation at the start of the day was complex. It is now very, very simple. Bayswater need one more goal to play top six football. If they don't, they will finish in the bottom six. Salmon contests. Floreat looks to come away with it, but Hughes cuts it out. Looks to fizz a diagonal for Nickel, but it won't get there. It may now. Hesketh lofts it down the line. And just kicking it as far away as he can, George Fester. Bayswater quick with a second ball. Stoko has made his way forward. Evans, the cool head, just dribbles around David Stoko and lofts it down the line into touch. Kazura with his first contribution. Flicking it around the corner. It was Hesketh. No one gives chase. I think a few Bayswater players are offside. Just putting his head where most people wouldn't put their feet. Alex McLean. Doesn't get anything for his troubles, but Bayswater go forward. Here's Nickel. Perhaps one more chance for the hosts. Over the back. Salmon has it taken off his head. He'll run out and keep it alive. He's got Smith for assistance. Smith comes away with it. He switches play well for Hesketh. Lobs one into the box and over everyone, and Saldaris will claim, and that could just about be it for Bayswater's 2020 title hopes. That kick was a little high, certainly not one of his best. Hesketh looks to reload again, down the line for the ever-running Nickel. Still Bayswater push for that goal. They need a goal. All the other games are finished. They are one goal away from sixth spot, but they have very little time left. Stoko flicks it on and cleared away by Saldaris. And Floreat now can kill it off. Arnold out on the left. He's got Murray inside. He looks to play him first time. Takes it down well. Tracking back and making the tackle was the substitute, Kazura. That could be an important intervention if they can get it up the other end, if they have time to get it up the other end. He plays for Salmon down the line, and Salmon's got a little break on Saldaris. He can stand him up. He can look to put a ball into the box. He opts for the ladder, and stretching and getting a foot on it was Fester. All the blue shirts will go forward now, even the green shirt. Jackson Lee is heading forward. All hands on deck for Floreat defensively. All 10 men of both sides, you would think, will end up in the penalty box. Corner taken. Salmon looks to flick it on at the near post. Cleared. Back out to Nickel. He can get it in again. He whips it back. Post. Smith. Back across the goal. Cleared off the line. Back to Smith. Back to Nickel. And out for another corner. He'll try again. Everyone in the box. What a final moment here. As the clearance comes out to Nickel. He'll lob it back in again. Salmon flicks it around the corner. And finally Floreat clear. They can run. They've got a 3-on-0. If they play the pass before they've ended the half, they do. Murray's onside. Murray looks to go around Lee. Does so. Just got one man to beat. That's the substitute. McLean beats him and then rolls it wide. He cannot believe it. But there is the final whistle. It was a final day of drama. It required a miracle for Bayswater, in truth, at the start of the day. Two parts of the miracle played out. Armidale losing 2-1 to Coburn. And the Glory doing away with Inglewood, meaning that Bayswater needed to win this game by 3 goals. In the end, they only won it by 2, and it turns in to disappointment for the hosts. It was for 10 or 15 minutes there, they were in 6th spot. Their title hunt was continuing, but a second half sucker punch from Philip Arnold has put paid to any hope of Bayswater playing top 6 football. We started with a Daryl Nickel goal from an early Luke Salmon free kick driven under the wall, turned in at the back post. Noah Shamaki levelled things in the 40th minute after some nice work from Captain Dean Evans down the left. Maralunda right before half-time gave Bayswater the lead and some hope, which was then amplified by Nelson Shongo's sending off just 10 minutes into the second half. Then goals from Maralunda and Salmon put Bayswater into 6th in the box seat before, as mentioned, that Philip Arnold sucker punch knocked Bayswater back out of the top 6 into 7th. They will continue their season on in the bottom 6. Floreat will march on in the top 6.